Greetings, everybody. Right back at you here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk. And like we say here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk, we don't just praise fighters with pretty records. We praise all fighters who get in the ring and fight hard. You could be 21-9, 38-2, or 16-10. If you out there knocking sweat off somebody's head, making the crowd want to come see you again, then your light will shine here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk. What's up, boxing fans? Erikson Lubin versus Jesus Ramos. Let's talk about it. Now, I want to start off to say, boxing fans, this gonna be a slugfest. I can't see this one being nothing but a slugfest. Because with the history of these two fighters, they both can't resist the urge to slug. They both got skills, but they both love to slug. Now, let's start with Erikson Lubin. We all know Erikson Lubin. Erikson Lubin is a sharp punching technician. He got power in both hands, he quick, he got a good boxing IQ. And when Erikson Lubin started his career, he put together a string of impressive wins. He beat a lot of guys, and he beat them so impressively that earned him a title challenge with none other than Jermell Charlo. Now, if you don't know, Erikson Lubin took a devastating loss to Charlo. Yeah, he took a good shot to the temple and he went down and he couldn't get back up. And it was a devastating loss. But no, that didn't stop Erikson Lubin. He managed to put together another string of impressive wins. And after winning so impressively, he met up against an up-and-coming superstar, the 6'7" towering Inferno, Fundora. And he was stopped in that Fundora fight. And Lubin fought with more heart and skill. He fought with more toughness and skill in that fight. I personally feel like Lubin could have won that fight easily by boxing, but Lubin loved to slug. And ever since that Fundora loss, Lubin has been calling for the rematch. But he said since I couldn't get the rematch, I had to take who they could give me. And who they could give him is none other than Jesus Ramos. Now let me explain something about Jesus Ramos, boxing fans. Jesus Ramos is the man that beat the man that beat the man that beat Lubin. Let me explain. Lubin took a loss to Fundora. Fundora took a loss to Brian Mendoza. Brian Mendoza took a loss to none other than Jesus Ramos. Erikson Lubin ain't had no easy road. And this Jesus Ramos fight won't be an easy fight. I smell a slugfest brewing, boxing fans. You don't want to miss this one. Jesus Ramos is tough. Jesus Ramos is tall. He's big for the 54-pound weight class. And one thing about Jesus Ramos is, to me, his biggest asset is he can take a punch. He's tough. Very tough. This is going to be a hard fight for Lubin. Jesus Ramos got the kind of offense that he can duck punches and dodge. He got that passive aggressiveness. He can be on the inside before you know it. He can be on the outside taking jabs, taking this and that. But before you know it, by the later round, he got his head between your punches, throwing hooks from unaccountable angles, jabs to the stomach, uppercuts. And he usually wears his opponents down like that. Now, Erikson Lubin is a sharp puncher. He got good movement, know how to keep distance, got jabs, got hooks, got uppercuts, but he loved to slug. Jesus Ramos loved to slug. I can't see this one being nothing but a slugfest. Because like I say, Lubin in the Fundora fight could have easily won that fight to me by just boxing. But he can't resist the urge to slug once he get hit. Jesus Ramos is just the same. Now, Jesus Ramos, he fought Brian Mendoza, and he wore Brian Mendoza down. He fought Vladimir Hernandez and wore him down with the same style. But Jesus Ramos lost his last fight against Santa Maria. And Santa Maria pretty much outworked Jesus Ramos. Ramos managed to hurt him early, but Santa Maria kept busy, kept a jab in his face, kept angles, and managed to push Jesus Ramos back very often in the later rounds. But with that passive-aggressive style that Ramos got, Santa Maria had to keep moving and keep busy, and he did that. But Ramos is slick and he long, got good balance. He's on the outside in the beginning, Yeah, he taking your jab, and here you can hit him with an occasional hook or two. But before you know it, he done worked his way on the inside without you knowing. Throwing hooks, throwing jabs, throwing straight shots, and he can punch from all kinds of angles. This will be a slugfest, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fight before the fight. This is the fight before Charlo and Canelo. You got to see this fight. The way we see this fight going here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk, Erikson Lubin is a smart fighter. Erikson Lubin got good movement. Erikson Lubin got good distance and a good boxing IQ. Now, I don't expect Erikson Lubin in the early round to be sitting there trying to slug with Jesus Ramos. But Jesus Ramos got that passive-aggressive power, and Lubin can't resist the urge to slug. At some point in this fight, I feel like there will be a collision. At some point in this fight, I feel like both of these fighters are going to go to their urges and leave boxing skills behind. Now, Lubin is the more experienced fighter. Lubin done been through more. Lubin got more to lose. Lubin done been here before. Thing about it, Lubin was on the other end of the stick. Lubin was the younger fighter coming up, facing an older, more groomed Charlo. This time, Jesus Ramos is coming up, facing a more groomed, polished Lubin. Like I said, both of these guys are at a breaking point in their career. Can Erikson Lubin continue his road to get his rematch with Pandora and eventually gain the title by defeating Demel Charlo? Can Jesus Ramos come back off a loss and defeat an up-and-coming superstar in Erikson Lubin? What's going to happen, boxing fans? Well, the way we see it here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk, Erikson Lubin is quick, he's fast, he got angles, and he been there. I see Erikson Lubin keeping a jab in Jesus Ramos' face. I see Erikson Lubin being smart and choosing his power punches strategically. Jesus Ramos, I see Ramos trying to bag Lubin up. He gonna be looking to catch punches on his shoulders and his arms, trying to gain access to Lubin's inside. He gonna look to get on the inside through angles and try to throw hooks to discourage Lubin. I see Ramos trying to keep Lubin busy the whole fight to where he can get him to fight his style, the grueling inside. I see Erikson Lubin being too smart for that. I see Erikson Lubin choosing his punches strategically. I see Erikson Lubin keeping a jab in Jesus Ramos' face. Here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk, we see Erikson Lubin and Jesus Ramos putting on one of the most memorable slugfests we done seen in recent times, with Erikson Lubin winning a close decision by using his boxing smarts, his quickness, and his ring IQ. I don't like to keep you too long because you don't know me that well, but you will. And like we say here at Railroad Nail Boxing Talk, we don't just praise fighters with pretty records. We praise all fighters who get in the ring and fight hard. You could be 14-6, 120, or 38-10. If you out there knocking sweat off somebody's head, making the crowd want to come see you again, then your light will shine here at Railroad Nail Boxing.